Hi guys, what is up? Welcome back to my channel, or welcome if you're new here. My name is Brooke and I'm 23 years old. I live in New York City. I've seen a lot of people do this, such as my friends Gretchen Garrity and Michelle Reed, so I do want to give credit where credit's due. But today we're going to do a girl talk advice Q&A. I feel like I do Q&As and things like that, but I never really get like too deep into it. I've done actually a few like deeper level videos, which I will link in cards right now, addressing your assumptions about me and whatever. I'm kind of an open book when it comes to this stuff, but I wanted to go a little bit deeper, have some real chats with you guys. So I asked you on Instagram, you should follow me at Brooke Video to submit your questions for this video. They're really all over the place. I will try to have some timestamps down below too if you want like one specific part of this video, but we're really going to talk about everything from periods and birth control, going to the gynecologist, shaving, waxing, dating from an app, like meeting up with people, plastic surgery, body count, the fear of like being alone forever. So we're really going everywhere. I'm excited about it. It might be a long one, so grab a snack. Let's go. A lot of questions on my birth control experience. So this is not a sponsored video. I actually just completed a year-long contract with Loloestrin FE, which is the birth control, the only birth control that I've ever used in my entire life. So just to back up, I'll give you guys like a brief history of like when I went on birth control and stuff like that. I was not sexually active at all in high school. I started going to the gynecologist the end of my senior year of high school, so I was 17, 18 years old. I think I was 17 when I first went on birth control. And the only reason why I went on, like I said, I wasn't sexually active, it was actually because I had really bad hormonal acne at the time and my periods were super bad. I was like bleeding through all my clothes. Like I know this is like TMI, but like super plus tampon, changing it all the time. And then I found out they make ultra tampons. Like my periods were just so extremely heavy. I kind of walked through the birth control options with my gynecologist, which I would definitely recommend doing. Talking through them all. I know that there's IUDs, there's things you can put in your arm, there's a bunch of different forms, but for me we kind of decided that the pill was the right place to start. I know this literally sounds like an ad, it's not. I just have had a really pleasant experience with my birth control, so I do think it's different person to person. I don't think there's a blanket answer. You know, I have friends that have had amazing experiences with IUDs. I have friends that have had like the armband thing and they like it. I've had friends that have had terrible experiences with both or terrible experiences with the pill. So I think it's really trial and error, and every body is so different and what your body needs is so different. So medication's kind of like weird like that, especially when it comes to your hormones. So we decided that this specific brand would be good for me because I know that it has iron, so it helps you kind of balance out your iron. I was low iron because my periods were so heavy. So that's why we decided on Lolo. Did I gain weight? Yes, but it's hard to tell if I gained weight because I was growing up, because I was going to college, I gained weight then. So there definitely were some side effects as with anything. So I would say like a little bit of weight gain, but also my skin cleared up, my periods. It's interesting. At first they were completely gone and now I get them once every like few months. So it's not regular and I can't really tell when they're gonna come. It's like unpredictable, but like they'll come sometimes and I'm like, all right, my period's here. Kind of a nice reminder that I'm not pregnant. So I'm okay with it, but they're definitely lighter. It's different. It did everything that I needed it to do. And personally for me, I just take it every night before I go to bed. So I'm almost out of mine, but just every night. Now I'm on like the last row, which I'm pretty sure is like sugar pills or whatever. I take them all. I don't really know all the rules. And then I have my next pack right here. So yeah, I've had a phenomenal experience. I did go off of it for a little bit when I graduated from college, and then my skin got worse again. I kind of had like weird withdrawal symptoms. Like I just didn't really like the way my body was reacting. I went back on. I've been normal ever since, and I've been able to lose weight. I used to think that because I was on birth control, I wasn't able to lose weight. Like I was just retaining all of this weight. That was not true. I've been able to lose like 15 pounds now. Overall, my experience has been extremely positive. I know it can be so hard to like talk to people in your life about it. Luckily, my mom was really supportive. My parents overall, just because, I mean, I think initially the reason why I went on was, like I said, because of acne and other things, but there are definitely ways to access birth control if you don't have people in your life who are like supporting you or paying for that or whatever it is. I definitely think explore your options. I think it's just better to be protected, especially at this point in my life. Like, yeah, it's still helping with my skin, it's still helping with my periods, but like at this point I probably should be on a birth control, and just to be safe, I'm chilling. I'll be on it for a really long time as far as I know. I would just say talk to your gynecologist about your options, or if you don't have a gynecologist yet, I know if you're like in high school or maybe even early college and you haven't started going to the gynecologist yet, just talk to your general doctor about it. Maybe get a referral, start going to the gynecologist. Talking about that too. People are like, tell us the tea on gynecologist visits. pap smears, etc. I think it's so important, this stuff, like to get it checked out, especially like I said, if you are sexually active, if you're doing these things, like it is so important. I definitely am more on edge when it comes to health things. Like I would rather be safe than sorry. I do think it's so important to regularly schedule those appointments annually, of course, if you have access, but there definitely are ways to get low or reduced cost visits to women's health doctors. Does a pap smear hurt? So when you're 21, I think you start getting a pap smear. No, it doesn't hurt. I don't think the gynecologist is uncomfortable at all. I mean, do I look forward to going? No. All in all, it's like an hour visit. I go, I leave, I'm done. I have a really good doctor, so I would suggest getting a doctor that you feel super comfortable with, and if you don't feel comfortable telling them everything, because you really need to be like super open with them. I ask my gynecologist some absurd questions. She's just the best. So I would say definitely get one that you feel comfortable with, and I don't think that it should be like crazy uncomfortable. Physically uncomfortable, maybe for a second or two, but I feel like I've personally been in worse pain than that. Like I don't think it's really that bad at all. I really would bring your stress levels down. It's okay. Wow, we're really just going into all the down there questions, but let's go to the next one. How do you wash down there? This is interesting because I'm a believer that your body naturally cleans itself. I've used feminine washes and stuff like that in the past, and I think it just creates more problems than even beginning with. And I think we have this culture where it's like, oh, you have to use like floral scented products down there to like make it smell good and whatever, but your body's not going to react well to that, or I know at least my body doesn't react well to that, and it just causes UTIs and greater problems. At the end of the day, it's a part of the human anatomy. I know at least internally you're not supposed to wash anything. I'm not a doctor. I wash the rest of my body. I have pretty sensitive skin to begin with, but I just make sure that nothing goes inside. I take a lot of baths, and I make sure that all of the bath products I'm using too are clean ingredients and safe, because I don't want anything to like go inside me and create problems. That's not fun to deal with. I have used like a feminine like cleansing wipe before. I'll use them sometimes if I'm like out all day and like I need it to be clean, or if I have my period or something and I just need like a quick clean, but it never goes inside. Like you just have to know the difference between like inside and outside. I know that this sounds weird, but that's just my tips. Hair removal, lots of questions on this, like body hair. My opinion might be different than yours, so let's respect everybody's opinion. I think, you know, it truly comes down to who you are and owning your confidence and owning your body, and it's your body. As with all of these questions, it's your body, it's your decision of what you want to do, and no one should tell you what's right and what's wrong. I hate that like society tells us like we have to be bare or whatever. For me, it's just personal preferences. I have some areas of my body that I don't shave, and I have some areas that I do. Shaving and stuff down there, okay. I've done waxing, I think like twice in my life. I found it so painful, I like literally was like crying. Does it get like a nice clean look? Yes. It's great for like if I'm going to the beach, or if I need to be like good for a solid week or two. I used to do it before like spring break in college. I remember the first time I did it was before my freshman year spring break of college. I loved it because then I was like free and like roaming around, and like I felt so good, but it definitely was painful. I would do that like before a big trip or something when I know I'll be in a bikini, but for me, all day long, I'm a big shaving person. Just make sure you use a fresh razor blade. Not sponsored, but I've been using Billy razors for a while now. I just change the blade on it all the time. This is a weird, what am I doing? Just make sure you're staying fresh with it. I use a shaving cream, of course. Like I would say take your time, don't rush, especially when you're shaving down there. Like it's a really sensitive area, so I really make sure that I'm not like rushing in the shower when I'm doing that. I'm like taking time. I like check and I'm like, okay, I have time to take a nice long shower today. Take your time when you're doing it. I personally think if you use a nice fresh razor blade, use a good shaving cream, take your time, then I don't really have too many problems. I mean, naturally, like you're gonna get some bumps. I think that's just the human body. It's not gonna be like the most perfect clean thing every single time, but that's life. 9 times out of 10 I shave. I never really have too many problems with that. Not even just for like being sexually active for that, like, but I wear a lot of leggings and I don't really wear underwear, so a lot of the times it's nice just to be shaven, literally just for my own sake. Okay, now for the rest of the parts of my body, I started doing laser under my arms. I'm only on the first treatment. My mom's Jewish, my dad's Italian, so I have lots of dark hair, dark thick hair in my family. Honestly, for me, I just kind of got sick of seeing like the shadow under my arms. I would always shave, but it just always had like a dark shadow because my roots are dark, if that makes sense. And for some reason, out of all the places on my body, that's what bothered me the most when I would like try to take a picture if I was like raising an arm and like I saw it. So I'll keep you guys updated on that. But normally in the past I've just shaved and like had no problem. I feel like I've really tried it all and like I'm not opposed to anything. I've used like a trimmer, I've used Nair for the longest time before I was able, like my mom didn't let me shave. Did anybody else have this too? Like my mom didn't let me shave above my knee, so I used Nair, but I feel like that was even worse. Like not that it was worse, but I didn't know how to use it. Like, oh my gosh, what was I doing? And then someone said, fellow Italian girl, thoughts on body hair. Yeah, I have, you know, arm hair. It's thick, I see it. I personally don't shave my arms, I shave my legs, I shave my underarms, and I shave down there. And like I have arm hair and I just don't touch it. There's other places on my body I have hair too, like on my stomach I have a little bit of hair. I just never really thought about it. I mean, I think if it's like a deep insecurity of yours, like do whatever you need to do. I have heard that once you start shaving your arms, like you can't stop. So I don't know if I'm the right one to give advice on that. I know people who have gotten their arms lasered, but like, look, I have hair and you know, I don't really care. I've never been insecure over my arm hair, but I think that's just a confidence thing that you have to develop on your own and like own it. There are definitely solutions if it bothers you. I just try to like rock it with confidence, you know? But yeah, most of the time like shaving, I do have to clarify, like it's for me, it's not for anybody else. It's just for my own confidence, like I said, for my own comfort, my own day-to-day living. And I think that's how it should be. Wow, that was a lot of like bodily questions. All right, now we're gonna hop into dating stuff. How do you feel safe dating online / meeting people you don't know? Ooh, I feel like I have to give you guys a set of rules here. I'm a big proponent of app dating. That's pretty much how I've done all of my dating post-grad. If it wasn't through meeting people through my job when I used to have a job, then the rest of it has been through apps. It's not even really been through friends of friends, like it's genuinely been through app dating. Honestly, I don't think it's too bad, especially during this COVID time, you know, it's hard to meet people, but I have rules. So here are Brooke's rules to safe online dating. Number one, you need to look them up. This is like if you have talked and like you're planning to meet up, by the way. Like if you just match with someone and you're having a convo, I don't think it needs to be like, now I need to do a deep dive on them. But if you're getting to the point that you're like, oh, I would like to see this person in person, or like they're asking you out, I would say this is full send time to do your little FBI investigation. But the Brooke way, okay? Ready? Sometimes guys also don't show their first and last name on Hinge, so you have to go a little bit deeper and like go by like what they say their job is or what they say their hometown is, but we're just gonna assume that they list their first and last name. Did I say on Hinge? I meant on any dating app. So you just need to look them up. Number one, to confirm they exist and to confirm like their information matches what they're telling you. My go-to place for this is LinkedIn. 9 out of 10 people these days probably have a LinkedIn. It kind of touches a lot of industries and it's a really easy way to confirm they went to college where they said they went to college. They work where they said they work. You could pretty much gauge age on there. There's a picture, so you can make sure the picture matches like their profile. First and last name, that's like the best first place to kind of look and confirm they're real. You could always look on Facebook, you know, Instagram, that sort of stuff. I personally don't care to stalk that much. Like I actually prefer not to like look at someone's Instagram feed before I meet them because I don't want to prejudge someone. I just want to confirm that they're real and that they're who they claim that they are. So once you confirm that, you know, all of the details match, you have to meet in public. Please do not let them come to your apartment or home. Do not meet them at their apartment or home. And I don't even meet like anywhere in the vicinity of my home. I let them pick the spot usually. I say literally just the neighborhood that I live in, the same information I tell you guys. I don't give like cross sections of streets or whatever. They don't need to know where you live. You're meeting them in public the first time. This is a stranger from the internet, so even if you've been like talking and texting for a while, maybe you even hopped on a phone call, it still is a stranger from the internet, so I think you need to err on the side of caution. Tell a parent or a friend or someone where you're going, share your location with them, and then text them when you get home just to confirm that you're home. At least for the first like few times, I would say meet in public. While you might seem like you know someone, like catfishing and all that stuff like genuinely still is a real thing. Be careful. And that's my tips. And then obviously once you know someone, like you can like let your guard down a little bit. It doesn't need to be like every date's like this huge like interrogation, but do your research. I mean, they're probably Googling you too. Sorry. Next up, dating advice. Obviously I'm not super successful in this area. I've been single for, we're going on 24 years, so really good. But I've talked about this a lot with my parents. If you guys don't know, my parents have been married now for, I don't know, what is it, like 25 years? I think they're nearing 25. More than 25, because I'm 24. They're nearing like 30. They started dating when they were in high school. I know, it's cute, right? I've talked about this a lot with my parents, so I have some thoughts. My big thing now is I'm 100% being myself from the get-go. I'm not going to pretend to be some chill, cool girl when I'm not. I know myself at this point, and I don't know why I would actively go out there, not pretending, but like putting on a little bit of a front. And I feel like in the past, not that I've done that per se, but you know, I've made exceptions or whatever, kind of cut people slack that I shouldn't have, if that makes sense. And if whoever I'm dating or whatever doesn't like who I am 100%, then they are not my person, because at the end of the day, I want to spend the rest of my life with this person. I don't want to have to pretend to be someone I'm not. Like, why? No. So the new thing is being 100% myself up front. My new favorite saying is, if they wanted to, they would. No ifs, ands, or buts. You know, you hear all day long, oh, like I really like him, but I haven't heard from him in like 3 or 4 days. Next. I mean, you can implement your own exceptions and stuff like that, but I've just been really shown in the past few months that if they wanted to, they would. And I see now like the flaws in my own past decision making, if that makes sense. But that's why I think dating is so, if you're single, like even just going on a few dates here and there, I think it teaches you so much about who you are, what you're looking for in a partner, even if it's not serious. Like I'll go on like a bunch of first or second dates with people, like I don't really care, because it's getting me out there and it's showing me what's available, what I like, what I don't like, what I expect versus what would be nice. How am I in a dating environment? Like it teaches you so much about yourself. So I would say don't take it too seriously. Be 100% yourself, because gosh, why not? If you're confused, it's a no, because you deserve so much more than being confused. I can't stress this enough. The amount of times that I would be like calling my friends like, I just don't know, like I have such mixed signals from this guy. It was a no. Like it just wasn't meant to be. And now I could see that, instead of like, you know, having like rose colored glasses or whatever. Just be yourself and have fun out there. How would you go about telling your significant other about plastic surgery without them thinking you're shallow? Now this is a really interesting one. I normally don't lead with this. For those of you who don't know, I have had a nose job, I've gotten Botox. I'm really quite open about it on this channel. That's really it though. I usually don't like lead with this. I mean, once I get comfortable with someone, I think normally it will come up in conversation, or if we're talking about like facial features or like what, like I obviously let the conversation go there first. I'm not just like, by the way, I've had a nose job. Like, no. But if we're like on the topic of something relevant, I would be like, hey, in 2016, I got a nose job and it changed my life, you know? I don't think you owe them or anyone that information. So if you want to like keep it to yourself, by all means do. For me particularly, that's a pretty important part of my story. Also, why would you want to be with someone who thinks you're shallow? It's your body, like we said, it's your choice, whatever you want to get done. If I told someone, oh, I got a nose job in 2016, it was so great, like I'm so happy, and they thought differently of me because of that, I wouldn't want to be with them anyways. That's my new thing. Don't hold back. It's interesting though, because I have friends who have gotten like lip filler and stuff, and they're like, how do I go about like telling my boyfriend about this? And I know every relationship, situationship, whatever is different. I think you have to go about it however you feel most comfortable. If they're gonna judge you for that, like on to the next. That's dumb. Advice on feeling bad about your body count. I wasn't sure if this was a question in terms of like my body count is too quote big or too quote small. Once again, I feel like this is another thing. It's literally nobody's business but your own. As long as you're being safe and smart and, you know, using protection, getting tested, staying up to date on that stuff, do not let your friends or society or anybody shame you for that. I personally don't think you need to give anyone that sort of information. I've never felt like I've had to share that. Also, people lie. Like, it's so easy to create a different answer. I personally wouldn't lie, because I have nothing to lie about. Like, I'm an open book. But you never know if someone's even entirely telling the truth, if you're like having a conversation about it. I don't think it needs to be discussed. What's in the past is in the past. Also, numbers don't mean anything. I have guy friends that have, in my opinion, relatively higher numbers than me, and doesn't mean that they're necessarily like better or worse at sex. I don't know. I don't think so. Just because you've slept with more people or hooked up with more people doesn't make you better or more experienced. Not necessarily, because then there's people who have, you know, had one like consistent partner forever and like they've really tried everything. So I really don't think that it's anything to be ashamed of. Like I said, it's literally no one's business except for your own. Best bras / undergarments for larger chest. I have a whole video up on this that I did over the summer, so click the card. I really like that video. I still stand behind everything, wearing the bras that I still, you know, showed in that video, and the undergarments and stuff like that. And I talk about my favorite underwear, sports bras, so go watch that video. This one's kind of interesting. How to be intimate, period, at all. And I actually really strangely relate to this one, or at least I used to. I'm definitely getting better about it, but I used to struggle so hard, even when it came to intimacy in the most minor form, like literally just kissing someone. I would get so in my head about it and be like, this is so weird, this is so awkward, I feel so bizarre, like I'm doing this wrong, whatever. And at the end of the day, I think it comes down to being comfortable with whoever you're doing it with. It might not be on the first time you hang out or the first date or whatever it is, and that's fine. Some people need to build that emotional connection before they can go there physically, and I'm recognizing that in myself, that I'm most definitely one of those people. I used to actually do the opposite and like be like, I don't need emotional at all, like whatever, but now I'm like, no, I need the emotional before I could do that. Some people need that emotional connection first to feel comfortable, and if you feel some sense of like awkwardness around intimacy, I feel like you probably are one of those people. Also, I do think it just takes like 1 or 2 positive experiences to shape that in a better light. A lot of my like negative perceptions around like intimacy and stuff like that have kind of been changed in the past year due to like more positive experiences. Obviously, don't force yourself to do anything you're not comfortable with, but I feel like also you should be with like the right partner that doesn't force you to do anything that you're not comfortable with, and that you're with someone that you want to do everything that you're doing, and not that it's like because of an expectation or anything like that. I think of intimacy like that in terms of physical intimacy. Emotional intimacy has never been like a problem for me. I'm pretty comfortable opening up. I know that it can be hard. Big question a lot of people ask, which I'm more than happy to dive into this. Do you fear being alone forever? This is the big question. Do you ever get negative responses from guys when you say you've never been in a serious relationship before? I do all the time, and I always feel like they don't want to talk to me for that reason, or that they're trying to find something wrong with me to explain why I've never been in a relationship before. I never know how to feel or even to respond. Yeah, and I've definitely felt like that before, where you just feel kind of behind. Same response as all of these on this list is I wouldn't want to be with someone that's like, why? That's so weird, why? I do think it's a genuine question, you know, especially if you're opening up with someone, you're talking about like your romantic past. For me, the way that I explain it, I'm just super honest. I'm trying not to feel like weird or shameful about it because it's my path, and I'm honest. I'm just like, honestly, I'm a super independent person. I've been working on myself, working on my business. I moved around a lot, and I just never really met anybody that I had that full connection with. And I'm selective, and I don't want to waste my time on something or someone that's not a fit. That's my answer to it. Your answer might look a little bit different, but I feel like you just have to be confident and bold in yourself, like with that response. Like I said, the right person won't make you feel like weird or like try to be finding like a flaw in you. Like, I don't think it needs to be that deep. I do think it's more common than you think. I don't think that it needs to be something that is looked down on, or like, oh, you're inexperienced. We need to reshape like the narrative in our own heads before we articulate that like to other people. So feel confident and comfortable in your own story first. Also, it's just so much more normal than you think. I got this message a ton of times, which shows that there's so many of us out here that have that same exact story that might be like around the same age, and that goes to show that you're normal. And I do have to say that all of the girls who wrote that similar question in, I like went and stalked their page, and they're absolutely beautiful, amazing girls. So it just goes to show they're probably just focusing on themselves, figuring themselves out and their own goals, and looking for the right fit. I've just been really picky my whole life. Like I was never really in a position to settle, and then I started dating guys that weren't picking me back. Now I know what I'm looking for, and if you don't fit the mold, like next, thanks. We got kind of deep there. I hope that I helped. I know that this was really long. I really have fun doing these kind of videos, so let me know if you want to see more advice. Not that I'm like by no means a professional, but I only have a brother. I don't have a sister, but so I've always wanted like a sister to do like sisterly chats with. So let me know if you want to keep seeing more of this type of content. Love you guys so much. Subscribe if you're new. New videos twice a week, Tuesday and Saturday. Follow me on Instagram to be a part of the next one, and I'll talk to you guys all super soon. Bye guys.